Power Producers Shop Talk, where we are refining and redefining the sales game by equipping you with the tools you need to differentiate yourself in the marketplace.
Listening to the podcast is only going to get you so far. Why not take your game to the next level? Check out Power Producer Basecamp on killingcommercial.com today.
Tactical skills that'll help you provide deliverable value to your clients and prospects.
Want to have the sweet swag that we send out from the Power Producers podcast for your clients and employees? Check out policyt.com today.
And action items that you can provide to take your prospects and clients to the next level.
Want to create an online presence but don't know how to start? Check out crushingcontent.com. It's done for you, so all you have to do is show up.
This is Power Producer Shop Talk, production redefined. Are you ready to feel the power?
So the Google Business Profile, that's at the top of the search result for those local searches. And that's why it's driving so much traffic to people's businesses and calls to people's business. Because again, this goes back to sort of like the no-click thing that we talked about the zero-click environment that we live in, right? When the Google Business Profiles were sort of created, if you remember back in the day, Google would show Yelp in the search results. So there was this whole big rush to like getting Yelp reviews and having a Yelp profile, right? Yelp is really nowhere to be found in Google search, right? Google basically booted them out and said, you know what, we can do this ourselves. We can create these Google Business Profiles. And instead of sending a bunch of traffic to Yelp, we're just going to contain that traffic on our own platform. And that was when the Google Business Profiles came out. And if you remember back in the day, now there's 3, but there used to be 4, there used to be 7. They've played around with the number of businesses that show. And what a lot of people don't realize is you can try all you want to rank your agency in like 30 different areas or 30 different locations, right? You could put location pages on your site, you can do link building, you can do all this stuff. At the end of the day, you're going to rank where you're physically located. Like that is your natural sort of SEO bubble, right? And it's because Google is using the location of the person who is searching. They're trying to show that person the most locally relevant result, which is directly tied to the physical address in your Google Business Profile. So I would say to anybody, like your Google Business Profile can be managed from your phone through the Google Maps app. So I would say step 1 is, and again, this is only applicable to like the business owner that controls the Google Business Profile, but download Google Maps and start posting content and little blurbs and little images and selfies, content, videos. You can post what's called an update to your Google Business Profile, which is essentially like a micro blog post, if you will. It's not really a blog post, but it's just any update that you want to give. Hey, I just saved somebody, $800 on their home and auto insurance. Bang, here's a selfie with a little blurb. Link goes back to your website. Google allows you to post these things whenever you want. And that helps with the relevance of your profile. So posting to your Google Business, again, right through your phone, treat your Google Business Profile like a social media app. In fact, I would give priority to your Google Business Profile over other, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Post to your Google Business Profile through Google Maps whenever you're going to post to Facebook or these other platforms. It's such a powerful, and it's free. It's such a powerful way to drive traffic and leads. Because again, people are seeing that before they ever go to your website.
Yeah. And I mean, to your point, I was on a call literally right before we jumped on with a mutual friend, and we were talking back and forth, and he had said, I've noticed over the last 3 or 4 months, my web traffic is really started to go down a little. I shouldn't say web traffic, but lead forms inbound from the website has gone down a noticeable amount. He said, but man, we're still getting a ton of calls. And I told him, I said, I bet you any money, if you were to go look at your analytics, you're going to find that people are just doing click to call directly from your Google My Business page, as opposed to going to Google, doing a search, going to your website, figuring out how to get a hold of you from there. And I think there's a few things that have changed that. Number one is, this is how most people are accessing the internet at this
100%,
point.
100%.
If I'm going out, and by the way, for those of you listening to this audibly, I just held up a cell phone. But the thing is, I think most people I use my desktop because I'm in the office. I'm not going to stop using my desktop to do a search just to pick up my phone. But if I'm not in the office, everything I do is in my pocket at that point. It's on my phone. So that's going to drive people there. And if they all they have to do is click a button to call you directly from finding out who the best agency is in the area, then they're going to do that. The other thing I've noticed, and this is more relative to Florida Risk specifically, but one of the things we've talked about before is how they have those AI summaries that are at the top of
Yep.
a Google search. And, I feel like for instructional type things, the example I use is the weed eater I just bought. I was, doing work to tune the carburetor the right way. It wasn't working out the way I wanted it to. So I went into Google, I typed in, a search about, what I needed to do for a Husqvarna weed eater to make sure that it doesn't bog down when you take the choke off. And at the top, boom, 10 steps, go do these 10 things. Well, I think when people are searching for insurance because they have a problem or because they have a concern, they may read that AI summary, but the real intent, the buyers who have the highest intent, or the people who aren't just price shopping and looking for a quote, they're going to go down and look to see where they can go deeper and get more information than just simply what that summary is. And so, I've noticed that our traffic from, or our inbound leads have dropped off somewhat, not like cut in half or anything, but I'd say they're probably down 35%. But the stuff that comes in is people who actually went with a specific purpose to learn about something, be educated on it. They consumed the content. Now they're reaching out, and the close rate on that stuff is through the roof. It's a much more higher intent lead. So
Oh,
I'm kind of leaning into the fact that if you're in an industry where you have to have technical knowledge of what you do, and it's arguable about whether or not my peer group does in most things, but we'll leave that for another day. But if and then you're willing to answer those questions and put that content out there, the people who are searching for answers are not going to accept an AI summary. They're going to continue to search for answers. And so if you think about it, I kind of embrace the fact that the AI is doing that because it's self-selecting the people that really I don't want to waste time on versus the people who are seriously out there looking to buy and they want somebody that they can trust.
no doubt. And 30,000 foot view, right? We've been in a zero click ecosystem for a long time with Google search. And this actually started with the advent of the Google business profile, right? Years ago, you had ads and then blue links. And at that point, it was really a game of, link building and who could get their blue link at the very top of those results. And with AI overviews, it's taking even more traffic away. So traffic is down like globally, internet wide. It's a new realm that we live in with AI and the AI overviews. And I'm sure Google and they'll play around. They'll probably start showing ads in the AI overviews. I mean, they're 80% of their revenue is coming from ads. So I think
You know
it's
who's getting screwed with the AI summaries is the people that put the stupid pictures up on Facebook that say, "Can you see it?" or whatever else. Because once all the other sheep go into the comments guessing, I can just look at what the AI summary is, and
yeah.
I don't have to screw around wasting my time on their clickbait.
No doubt. And it's another reason why, we talk to a lot of agencies, right? And SEO is obviously it's a big sort of, before AI, it was automation. Before automation, it was VAs. Before VAs, it was SEO, right? There's always this like, this sort of loud, this loud noise, right? In our industry. But it's another reason why sometimes like you have to evaluate if you're an agency, right? Because if you interviewed 1,000 agencies, I think 999 of them would tell you that referrals are their best source of new customers. But yet, you have a lot of people that are chasing these other channels that oftentimes don't bear fruit, right? Because of market competition or cost or what have you. Yeah, so it's one of those things, right? Like you can't look at it in a vacuum. SEO is just one way to generate new customers, and for a lot of insurance agencies, again, being in a very competitive industry where even if you are ranking number one, number two, number three on page one, the organic results are at the bottom of the page. People are most likely clicking on an AI overview or a Google business profile or a Reddit result, right? So to invest in SEO, again, it's not a bad thing. It's just you have to have a big picture view of that, because for a lot of people it's a losing proposition.
Yeah, 100%. So where should agencies be focusing at this point?
Man, like I said, I think a big deal right now is people, personality, and processes, right? How can you differentiate yourself from another agency, not just online, but like offline as well? We've been having conversations with a lot of agencies to say, look, we don't want to use stock photos on your website. Like, but we have to, unless you send us like new headshots, group photos, like send us some personality that we can put on your website, because that helps. That does help convert leads into customers and visitors into leads, right? It's a fact. So I would say for any agency that wants to like step on the gas and like you want to take that next step, you know, just pause on AI, pause on SEO, work on infusing personality into your business.
Humanize your brand, man. That's it.
Humanize your brand, because that's where it's going. Like I'm friends with a lot of SEOs and a lot of people that are in, the digital marketing space, some very big names and some people that manage stuff for like Fortune 500 companies. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine last week, and he's like, we're pivoting away from SEO to branding, because in his mind, like that's where it's going with AI search and whatnot. And that's when you listen to a lot of these experts, like one guy that I admire and I follow. This guy's definitely a thought leader in the SEO and the AI space, is Steve Toth. Um, SEO Notebook and AI Notebook. I'm not affiliated with him. I don't even know him, never talked to him, but he's definitely a thought leader and a guy that that I follow. And if you just listen to kind of like some of the stuff that he's been preaching the last year, it's like it all makes perfect sense. So I would stop worrying about micromanaging blog posts and all the little on-site optimizations, and start thinking more about like, how can I use video? How can I leverage my website to get more referrals? Like, how can I go after the lower hanging fruit versus chasing non-standard price shoppers, which is a majority of typically what you get from a Google search, right? How can I focus on the lower hanging fruit while infusing more personality into my agency, to my website, to my touch points, my CRM, etc.
We got about 4 minutes before I got to jump on a coaching call with our mutual friend Ciara, who actually would agree with everything you just said. We actually talked about this at Producers in Paradise in Key West this year. We had a panel that Patrick McBride moderated that was me, Ciara, Aaron Levine, and then Daniel Wakefield, the guy that did everybody's headshots, which seemed to be the new Air Force Ones of the insurance industry. Everybody's getting the custom AF ones a few years ago. Now they all want a Wakefield headshot, which good for him, man. He does an amazing job.
I saw them; they're
But
awesome.
yeah, but the thing is, that's exactly what we said. It's all about your brand. And here's a news flash for some of you old codgers out there. Well, actually, you're probably not even listening to a podcast because it doesn't come out on cassette. But, if you're in one of these older agencies and you don't believe in empowering your producers to build their personal brand under the umbrella of your agency, you are shooting yourself in the foot in real time every single day. You've got to give people that are out there that are representing you an opportunity to humanize your brand by being themselves, because if you don't and they're entrepreneurial enough, you're just going to be competing against them when they leave to open their own agency where they have the freedom to do that. But I'm 100% in on the fact personal brand is now more powerful than anything else, because if they like you first, they're going to buy from you second. And it doesn't even matter if you have an educational piece in there. They're not even going to go to the educational piece if they don't feel like they can relate to you. And the problem that we have is in social right now specifically is so many people are whores for likes and shares, and they want to get all of that. The real magic of social is coming from dark social. It's the people that are lurking and following that never go into your comments. They never like your post. They never click on your link. You can't attribute anything that they do to how they get to you until you have the conversation. Where did you hear about us? Oh, I've been following you on
Yeah.
Facebook for years. I love the stories you put up about your son and the neighbor next door fighting and all of this other stuff, right? But they relate to you on a human level. It's even the killing commercial stuff for me, man, because marketing to that is no different than marketing to somebody for Florida Risk Partners. I'll have agents that reach out to me because they relate to who I am as a father, a husband, and how I balance all of that. And that's what opens the door. It has nothing to do with the fact I can teach them to be successful in middle market and make money. They've got to like me first. And you know what? There's people out there who don't, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I probably don't like them either. It's
Yeah.
okay. Not everybody's supposed to get along with everybody else. If we were all the same flavor, the world would be a really boring place. But if you
100%.
double down on your personal brand, your audience is always going to find you. The people who like you are going to begin to trust you, and your business is automatically going to grow because of it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, it's never been more important. And we talked about it the other day, right? People buy from people that they know, like, and trust, regardless of maybe how great the product is, right? I mean, I remember when I was an agency, like, quick story, when I was an agent, um, we had just gotten contracted with Ohio Casualty, which was a Liberty Mutual, like, regional company, right? I think they kind of like merged into Safeco several years ago. But this is when I first started out. I'm working my list of friends and family for quotes, and it was a friend of the family, and they were with State Farm for many years, and I presented them with two quotes. One was Travelers, and one was Ohio Casualty, and they were both better than what State Farm was presenting. And he said, I want Travelers, and Travelers was like $800 more per year than Ohio Casualty. And I'm like, why do you want them? And he's like, I never heard of Ohio Casualty, man. Like, I just give me the Travelers. If people don't know you, that they're not going to do business with you. If they don't know you and they find your website and you're ranking number one, but they don't know you, they're most likely not going to be a customer. So, to your point, to Ciara's point, like, brand first and worry about the other stuff later.
Yep, 100%. All right, cool deal, man. Well, I appreciate you jumping on with me and chatting through some of this today. I'm sure we've got more that we're going to be talking about here in the real near future. So I hope you have a good weekend. Everybody else, we'll catch you next time. See
Take
ya.
care, guys. Appreciate it. See ya.